This is a pipe organ, and that's an analog synthesizer. And I'm not sure when Moog put an instrument in on the Matriarch that this is what they had in mind, but today I'm going to play a pipe organ through my Moog Matriarch, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, let's talk for just oh my God, I've never held a camera before. Now I've been an organist for about 20 years. Wait, can that be right? Arms are not long enough for this lens. And about 6 years ago, I got into making electronic music with synthesizers, electronics, computers, all of the things that modern producers have been using for a long time that were brand new to me as of 6 or 7 years ago. And today, I'm going to marry these two worlds with really very little idea how it's going to turn out. And I'm going to let you watch because, as we've established on this channel, I'm not very smart. Now, my synth of choice today is the Moog Matriarch, and I've chosen it because not only does it sound really good by itself, but it has amazing stereo filters, this absolutely stunning delay, which is also stereo, and it has an instrument in on the back so that I can get this guy into this. Focus, focus, over here. Hey, and once I have the organ into the Matriarch's mixer, I can treat it just like any of the Matriarch's oscillators, which means I can affect it with the Matriarch's LFOs, its envelopes, its filters, all of the tools that we have at our disposal. Now, while we're, all somewhat enamored by these massive pipe organs, I know I certainly was when I started playing one 20 years ago, it's the big sound that first gets our attention. But the fact is, all an organ is a series of on-off switches, which means it's not the most naturally expressive instrument. It takes a really skilled player and music that is well-crafted and written for the instrument for it to really sound good, or at least sound expressive like most instruments or orchestras that you would hear playing today. I've always been intrigued by adding shape and swells and movement to the sound of the organ, which is rather stagnant, in post. Or in this case, through the Matriarch's filters and sound shaping devices. Now, one interesting thing to note about this organ in particular is the fact that it is fully enclosed. That just means that if you were just looking up here, you would not see any pipes. That's because they are all hidden behind these expressive shutters, which we open and close with these pedals here. And that gives this organ an element of expression that most organs do not have. There's a very significant challenge to overcome when recording an organ, and that is all the wind noise, which the shutters are closed at the moment, so it's not too bad. But if we head right over here, suddenly things get a lot windier. I don't know if you can actually see me in here, but as you can hear, the blower is pumping right up through there. It's in the basement, and it's coming up through some pipes, some of those kind of pipes. And that goes into these wind chests here. They look like this. They inflate, expand when the organ is turned on. Then as soon as you play a note, a little magnet tells these pipes when to open. I've put a mid-side pair right there in the middle of the sanctuary because with the organ, you definitely don't want to close mic it for the reasons that we just discussed. And also, it's not meant to be heard up close. It's meant to be heard out there because this room and this building and the natural reverb that it has is part of the sound of the organ, a big part of the sound of the organ. So it has to have that live space to really thrive. So you want to capture the sound out there. By the way, if you're interested in the full setup of how I'm getting the organ mic'd and into my audio interface and into my DAW and then out to the Matriarch, maybe I should do a Patreon and put that kind of thing on there. I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see. Okay, Let's get into it. I'm going to put us in drone mode. It just so happens we already are from my sound check earlier, and that should allow us to freely get into the Matriarch's instrument in through the VCA. The VCA will be held open for us rather than us having to trigger it with the keyboard. So obviously I am out of appendages to play things with, so the Matriarch is going to have to take care of itself. First, let's go series. We've got high pass here on the spacing knob. That's the high pass filter in this case. And then filter 2 is the low pass controlled with the cutoff knob here. If that doesn't make any sense to you, you can watch some of my videos about synthesis and the Matriarch in particular, and that might clear things up just a bit. So essentially what I have is the pipe organ now running through the Matriarch's filters, and I'm going to hold off on the delay because the delay is going to make everything incredibly spacious. One thing to note, the organ will be monoed out because it's just one instrument in here. So it's mono going into the Matriarch, and then from that point on, we can stereoize it with the filters and the delay. Oh, headphones. First, I'm going to start with just a simple flute. Give that a little bit of movement through the modulation here, which is hardwired in. We'll do some patching in a minute. Let's hear that through the delay. Now, I know why you're really here. You want to hear big sounds through the Matriarch, right? So, let's get some stuff going, shall we? Well, that's really cool. Now maybe some soft sounds. Let's see what happens. One of the great things about this organ, it has some of the greatest string stops that I've ever played. They sound absolutely ethereal and wonderful. And you're going to see what I mean in just a second. I'll give you a sample of just the dry sound from the organ. Absolutely beautiful. So what I think I'm going to do, because it's like a million degrees in here and I've been in here all afternoon, is make some samples of some things that I can chop up and put together in my very air-conditioned studio later on. And maybe I'll just give those samples away to you. That'll be the first link in the description so that you can make something with it yourself. And I don't know, share it with me, tag me in social media and stuff. This video was not the easiest to make because, as aforementioned, it is not in my very air-conditioned studio, and I have been here for pretty much the entire day and my stomach has just begun to eat itself. And the one thing you can do to help me out is like and share this video, because that will send it out to more people. And we all know how hard it is to get organ videos to go viral unless you're doing a cover of Interstellar or Kate Bush.